In a world that is increasingly unstable, divided, and filled with uncertainty, the Virgin Mary's message in Medjugorje shines as a beacon of hope and urgency, calling for deep spiritual preparation and transformation. Delivered at a time when fear and confusion grip the hearts of many, Mary's words are not just a call but a divine summons to all her children, those who are close to the faith and those who have wandered far from it, to return to God with renewed hearts and spirits. Her message is crystal clear. We must rise above the distractions and chaos of everyday life and commit ourselves to profound spiritual growth. This divine call to conversion is not a mere suggestion. It is a life-changing directive. The Virgin Mary appeals to everyone, whether firmly rooted in faith or distant from it, to reorient their lives toward Christ. The urgency of this message cannot be overstated. It urges us to act swiftly and with conviction, for the times ahead will challenge us in ways we cannot yet fully comprehend. But this call is not just about surviving difficult times, it is about fortifying our souls. Spiritual preparation is crucial, not simply for the physical hardships that may come, but for the tests of faith that will challenge the very essence of who we are. Only those whose hearts are anchored in a firm foundation of prayer and devotion will have the strength to endure these trials, which will impact both body and spirit. Mary emphasizes that it is prayer, especially the Rosary, that serves as our greatest defense. The Rosary, according to Mary, is not merely a collection of prayers spoken in succession. It is a transformative spiritual weapon that invokes divine protection, brings us closer to God, and guides us through darkness. Each Ave Maria is not just a prayer, but a grace-filled moment that strengthens our souls and helps us navigate the uncertainties of life. It is an invitation to experience peace amid chaos, to receive God's protection, and to transform our hearts into vessels of love and devotion. But even more than prayer, the Virgin Mary calls for a genuine spiritual conversion that begins deep within us. True conversion is not about outward appearances or mere rituals. It is about a profound internal change that alters the very core of who we are. Mary's message serves as a reminder that this internal transformation is the key to facing the trials ahead, which will test not only our physical endurance, but the strength of our faith. Mary urges us to embrace this inward conversion with urgency, for it is the only way to stand strong against the trials that will come. These challenges will not only affect us individually, but will impact the entire world. Through prayer and conversion, we are called to become instruments of change, not just in our own lives, but in the world around us. Mary's message is a call to action, inviting us to work together, united in prayer and in faith, to create a more compassionate, loving, and faithful world. In the face of these uncertain and challenging times, we must take Mary's words to heart. Spiritual preparation is not a luxury. It is a necessity for the difficult days ahead. Through prayer, especially the Rosary, and through genuine spiritual conversion, we can find the strength to endure and overcome whatever may come. Let us embrace this divine call to conversion and allow it to transform us, so that we may stand firm in faith, ready to face the challenges of the future with courage, peace, and unwavering trust in God's love. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope that you feel inspired by Mary's powerful message of hope and transformation. Let us all commit to deepening our faith and prayer life, preparing ourselves spiritually for whatever challenges may come. May the grace of Christ guide you in all things. Don't forget to subscribe and stay updated with more messages of faith, hope, and love. Mary's prophetic vision, a global call to spiritual awakening in her divine revelations. The Virgin Mary offers a sobering glimpse into the future, foretelling catastrophic events that will strike nations across the globe. Countries such as Mexico, Colombia, Spain, and Venezuela will face not only devastating natural disasters, but also profound internal strife. These tribulations, though physical in nature, will test the very core of human existence, placing believers at the crossroads of endurance and faith. Yet, Mary's message is clear. The greatest battle will not be against the forces of nature, but against the forces of evil seeking to weaken humanity's spiritual resolve. While the world will undoubtedly experience turmoil, ranging from earthquakes and floods to political unrest, the true crisis at hand is spiritual. Mary warns that society's moral foundations will be shaken, leading to confusion and widespread deception. This disaster, although physical in its impact, will ultimately challenge the very essence of faith and belief. In the face of this impending global crisis, the faithful are called to turn to Christ as their only true source of strength and protection. It is through unwavering trust in Christ, Mary emphasizes, that we will find the courage to withstand the trials that lie ahead. In an age where division, anger, and indifference seem to dominate the world, the Virgin Mary encourages believers to become active instruments of change. She calls us to be the light in the darkness, spreading peace, love, and solidarity wherever we go. These acts of love are not only a spiritual response to the chaos around us, but also a way to counteract the overwhelming darkness that threatens to engulf the world. Mary's call is not just a plea. It is a directive for each of us to live as true ambassadors of Christ's love, sharing his light in a world that desperately needs it. The visions of flaming skies in Mary's prophecies symbolize a period of intense spiritual darkness, a time when hope may seem distant and the forces of evil appear all-consuming. However, despite these ominous predictions, Mary's message is not one of despair, but of hope. She implores the faithful not to succumb to fear or panic, but to remain grounded in faith. The storms of life will come, but God's protection is always available to those who call upon him. Through prayer, particularly the Rosary, we can find solace and divine protection, strengthening our spirits to face the coming trials. Central to Mary's message is the role of Saint Michael the Archangel, the commander of the heavenly army, who stands ready to defend the righteous from the forces of darkness. This protection, Mary explains, is not just symbolic, it is real and essential. Believers are urged to seek Saint Michael's intercession in their spiritual lives, particularly during times of temptation and confusion. His guidance and strength are a powerful defense against the attacks of evil, offering a shield to those who remain steadfast in their devotion to God. Moreover, Mary speaks of a spiritual battle unlike any other, one that includes the rise of the Antichrist, widespread apostasy, and the denial of divine truth. In an age where moral relativism reigns and truth itself seems under attack, Mary calls for vigilance. The forces of evil will try to seduce the faithful, leading many astray with deceptive ideologies and false promises. But Mary urges the faithful to remain firm, to guard their hearts, and to continue walking the path of truth with unwavering devotion to God. The Rosary, Mary reminds us, is our greatest weapon against the darkness that seeks to infiltrate our hearts and minds. This simple yet powerful prayer not only strengthens our relationship with God, but also helps us resist the temptations of a world that is increasingly turning away from him. Through the Rosary, we find peace, clarity, and the strength to endure the spiritual battles that lie ahead. Despite the gravity of her warnings, Mary's message is one of hope and reassurance. She assures us that God will never abandon his people, even in the darkest of times. Those who commit themselves to Jesus' Sacred Heart and her Immaculate Heart will find shelter and protection under her maternal care. No matter how fierce the storm, Mary reminds us that God's love will never fail, and his protection will be with us always. In summary, Mary's prophecies serve as a clarion call to spiritual awakening, urging us to prepare not only physically but, more importantly, spiritually for the trials that await. The world may face tremendous hardship, but through prayer, faith, and the intercession of Saint Michael, we can emerge victorious. Let us commit ourselves to Christ, seek refuge in the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and live as beacons of love and hope in a world that so desperately needs it. As we face the challenges ahead, may we remember that no matter the darkness around us, God's love shines brighter. And through prayer and devotion, we can find the strength to overcome anything. In her message, the Virgin Mary reminds us of a fundamental truth. No matter how powerful the forces of evil may appear, the light of faith will always triumph. The dark times that we are heading into are not the end of the story. They are, in fact, an opportunity, an invitation for spiritual renewal and cleansing. Mary calls on all her children to see the adversities ahead not as signs of defeat, but as divine moments for transformation. These challenges, though daunting, offer a unique chance to purify our hearts, strengthen our faith, and participate in God's ultimate victory over evil. One of the central pillars of Mary's message is the urgent call to pray in unity. The Rosary, she stresses, is an incredibly powerful spiritual tool that can protect us from the dangers of the world and elevate our personal relationship with God. Through the Rosary, we are invited to invite divine favor not only upon ourselves, but also on our communities and the world. Mary promises that this humble prayer has the divine capacity to turn the tide, even in the most desperate of situations. It is a beacon of hope and an armor for the soul in times of trial. By praying the Rosary daily, We strengthen our bond with God and invoke the power of heaven to shield us from evil's grip. Beyond personal transformation, Mary urges us to take active steps in our faith. In a world increasingly divided by hatred, animosity, and indifference, Christians are called not just to profess their faith, but to embody it in every action. It is not enough to declare ourselves believers. True faith is expressed in acts of kindness, compassion, and charity. In times of suffering, these actions become even more profound. Mary encourages us to reach out to those in need, both materially and spiritually. By offering a helping hand and sharing the love of Christ, we become vessels of God's grace, transforming the world with the light of His love. Mary's message is not only a warning, but also a promise. It is an appeal for deep introspection, spiritual readiness, and unwavering trust in God as we face unprecedented challenges. While the future may seem uncertain and filled with darkness, Mary assures us that we are never alone. Through prayer, especially the Rosary, and a steadfast commitment to our faith, we are empowered to confront the struggles that lie ahead. Mary reassures us that while the forces of evil may rise, they will not have the final say. God, in His mercy and goodness, is the ultimate victor, and those who place their trust in Him will share in His victory. Now more than ever, we are called to renew our faith, purify our souls, and unite in prayer. As we prepare for the coming trials, we must fortify ourselves spiritually and mentally. Only by deepening our connection with God and committing ourselves to His love and truth can we endure the darkness ahead. And when we emerge, we will be stronger, our faith tested, and refined, our hearts more attuned to His will. Thank you for taking part in this journey of faith. Your presence adds strength to our collective pursuit of spiritual truth and guidance. Until then, may you find peace and inspiration in the eternal message of hope that Mary offers to us all.